If you have neurodifferences like autism, ADHD, etc., or whether you just want to know more about these things, then you may or may not know that cafes can be quite challenging. Hey there, how's it going? It's MiffedLuke here. My name is Luke. I have mild autism and extreme dyspraxia. This makes it hard for me to navigate cafes. We have autism, which makes it hard for me to interact with people in the environment. We have dyspraxia that makes it hard for me to interact with physical objects in the environment. And my dyspraxia also makes it hard for me to process all the information because I have a very low mental processing speed. Now, I thought I'd do a quick search on people with autism and cafes. And yeah, there are actually some guides of people that struggle with cafes with autism and how to manage it. I don't think it's just autism that can make cafes difficult. Like me, I only have mild autism, but I have severe dyspraxia, which doesn't only affect me physically, but it affects me psychologically as well. I also want to quickly point out that job offers for people with autism to work at cafes have appeared. And that's a funny thing, like cafes can be environments for people with autism to work in, but it can also be a difficult environment for people with autism to navigate. And might I say, me with extreme dyspraxia, working in a cafe, having to process all the information, remember what customers ask for, handle equipment like making food, making drinks, handling cash even, I'm not sure I could do all that. So here's me trying to open a can of lemonade. And as you can see, I couldn't get it open. If you have neuro-differences, and especially if you're like me with dyspraxia, then you know exactly how this goes. You put your fingertip underneath the part of the can that's meant to open it. To open it, you push that part of the can upwards to open it, and it doesn't open. Maybe it's because you can't get the angle right, maybe it's because you can't apply the right amount of pressure. Because of my dyspraxia, those are probably the reasons for me, and I almost gave up on opening the can, until this happened. So as you can see, I actually got it opened. So what's next? Next is pouring the drink. But will I spill it everywhere? Let's hope not. So if you struggle in a similar way to me, you might spill your drink everywhere. And I almost did. Maybe your can is too far away from the cup and you spill it. Maybe your can is too far over the cup and you spill it on the other side. Maybe you pour it out too slowly and it just goes down the can. Or maybe you pour it out too quickly and it just goes all over the place if it misses the cup. There are all sorts of things that could happen there. Thankfully, I managed to get it in the cup this time, but I think I just struggled to get a good feel for it. Again, this is due to my dyspraxia with applying pressure and getting the right angles and all that. I've been showing you a lot of instances where my dyspraxia has made me struggle, but I'm actually now going to show you some instances when the psychological side of my dyspraxia makes me struggle as well. So it's kind of difficult for me to navigate busy environments like this. It's busy, there's tables that are there, but I need to go and grab them quick before we even choose the food. I'm with my mum. There's not a lot of tables, so my mum has to reserve a table. Well, I would say reserve, like sit at one while I go and choose my food. And when I actually choose the food, I don't want it to look like I'm standing in queue, because I'm not. I'm simply just browsing. But I worry that people might think I'm like pushing in or might try and offer me help or something like that. I think someone even said hello to me. It was one of the staff members, and I said hello and kept on looking at the food. You know, it's like. So I do struggle with these sorts of things. Then I got to remember what I chose. So in my case, I chose the Panult's raisins, and then I got to describe it to my mum. Sometimes I haven't found what I want, and she might have to make a decision for me. Panult's raisins. How do I open these? Oh, this is the top of the bag. Not that I thought this was the top of the bag at first. No, this is top of the bag. That was the close one. Nearly fell out. Good to go. So this has been my experiences with cafes, autism and dyspraxia, and how cafes might be a challenge for those that are differently wired. Environments like these can cause sensory overload, sensory overwhelm, things like that. In this video, the cafe I happened to be at was in London Waterloo Station. It's a very overwhelming environment. There's people everywhere, there's noises, there's announcements, all sorts really. And then add a cafe to an already overbearing environment where there's blenders going on, people gathering in the smaller spots in an already crowded environment. It's very, very overloading. In this video, I don't particularly talk about carrying trays, bumping into others, and as you saw, eating things. I didn't have cutlery, the food still nearly went flying out the bag. If I did have cutlery, the food still might have went flying. I'm going to have a difficult time cutting up the food. I'm going to have a difficult time spreading things on the food. I'm still going to have a difficult time with cutlery. Those are pretty much all I wanted to cover. Let me know if you have any of these sorts of experiences. No pressure, of course. Thank you so much for watching. It's MiffedLuke here. My name is Luke, and I'll be back in more videos coming soon. Goodbye, everyone.